What's up? Brandon Lilly here. Today I'm going to be talking to you about the Cube Predator. I think it is finally time to bring that to the forefront and to bring this back to the table for the masses. I've been very close to my chest with this information as far as keeping it for my clients. A couple of years ago, I wrote the Cube Predator for the bench press. Very well received, very successful results from the people who tried it. And when that was written, I was going through my injury, and a lot of things happened, and a lot of changes occurred. And I kind of looked out at the social media world and saw that there was just this influx of, everybody had a method, everybody was doing online coaching, everybody was coming out with all this stuff, and it was just like this overflow of information, and some of it good, some of it awful. And I kind of wanted to protect what I was doing at the time for my clients, and I just continued to run the Predator through my clients rather than continuing to put out information. If you've looked, you probably haven't found a new Cube article in forever, and that's not because the Cube is gone. It's just because I haven't been writing any new information about it, because I wanted to protect it. I wanted to build it into something that I felt was maybe not bulletproof, because I feel like anybody can argue against any kind of methodology. I mean, it's likes and dislikes kind of deal, but I wanted to build something that was really worthwhile and something that I could really stand behind. And in the first two books that I wrote, the Cube Method and the 365 Strong book, I actually had no idea that I was working on a book. I was actually just chronicling my training, telling people what I was doing, and writing articles about what I was doing. And for me, the change that I was experiencing was trying to reduce the noise, or the white noise that was going on in my head about lifting. I got into lifting just to be stronger, just to look better, feel better, and that was with a barbell and a dumbbell. And no offense to Louis Simmons and his progression of the bands and the chains and so on, but it was just like, I trained the West Side Method for close to 12 years, and I was just to the point where I was stalling out. I was having a hard time finding joy in the gym. If I traveled, if somebody didn't have the bands, the chains, and box and all that stuff, it was difficult to train. So I just had this exodus from everything that I had been doing, and I started turning back to my roots. I read a lot of Mike Mentzer stuff in the beginning. I read a lot of I wouldn't say I read Super Training, but I looked through Super Training for a lot of ideas in the beginning. And then also, I read the West Side Method. I read a lot about Shako and Smolov. But then as I started doing my own thing, I started delving deeper into these methodologies. Again, I reflected back on Super Training, and this time I actually did more reading of Super Training. If you've ever tried to crack into that book, you'll understand what I'm saying. It's not something that you can just sit down and pleasurably read. It's a massive amount of information. It's a ton of scientific knowledge. But again, it's a very, very, very worthwhile book to have in your collection. And looking back, when I look at the Cube Method and the 365 Strong book, those two books are good methodology books. Are they great books overall? I'm a writer, and I'm a person who believes in doing things to the best of my ability. And at the time, not necessarily knowing that I was writing a methodology book, those were the best of my abilities. But looking back and reflecting on those things and moving forward, I have to be honest with myself, and I wanted to do more. I wanted a book that I felt like I could walk into a university collegiate strength coach office and see my book on their desk, or see my book on their collection. And I would want that for any strength athlete or any strength enthusiast to feel that way about the Cube Predator book. This new book is very much a nuts and bolts, start to finish application of the methodology, a lot of my theory, a lot of my beliefs on competition, and as well as just becoming a bit beginner, and as well as moving on all the way up to advanced. So this is a start to finish book for someone who who wants to train a cube method style program. What has changed is that it is no longer a 4-day-a-week system. The off season is going to be a 4-day-a-week system. Very, very typical to what you've seen in the past. It's going to be a squat day, a bench day, a deadlift day, and more of an accessory type, bodybuilding type day. That's because in the off season, we're going to try to develop as much hypertrophy as we can. We're going to try to work the muscles very, very hard. And we're also going to try to have a max recoverability. We're not trying to push the system, the central nervous system at this point for maximum poundages. What we're trying to do is have a preparatory system that will get you ready for a competition phase when you do want to go to the maximum level. And then when it comes to the competition stage or the preparatory stage, we move to a 5-day-a-week system. You'll have 2 squat days a week. One will be primarily based around the heavy, the repetition, and the speed. The other squat day will be a complementary lift, which will be more along the lines of an accessory type squat. Then you'll have 2 benches a week, which will be a heavy, a rep, or a speed type day on your first bench day. And your second bench day will be around something like an accessory type bench day, like a close grip or a wide grip or something like that, an accessory type bench day. And then your deadlift day will also rotate around the heavy bench, the rep, and the speed type program. So again, the cube method in and of itself and the rotational aspect of it will still be there. But what I've found over time and what I've found with my athletes is they respond better with those additional accessory type days in. And all we're really doing in the preparatory phase is adding in one more day and breaking the accessory day down into an upper and a lower type situation. But those 2 accessory days are still very much geared toward hypertrophy, even in the preparatory phase. So what I've done is I've broken everything down to the best of my ability, taking all the feedback that I've been given from group after group after group of predator athletes. And not only am I trying to instill the physical aspect of things, but I'm trying to instill the mental aspect of the lift and the improvement of the body. I'm a huge proponent of the belief that as you strengthen your body, you should strengthen your mind. Not necessarily just from the standpoint of competition, but I encourage my clients to go out and expand their mind, read things. You know, something that I've been doing with some of my newer clients has been sharing articles that I find very, very interesting, whether it's relative to lifting or not, but articles that inspire me and challenge me to look at myself differently and to grow. I think that's part of a predatory mindset, and I think that predatory mindset is important to have in the gym. It's important to have in life, and not so much that you're trying to always compare yourself to the next person, but compare yourself to who you were yesterday or the day before that or the day before that. And I think as long as you're competitive with yourself and continuously focusing on moving forward, then the life that you lead as a lifter and the life that you lead as a person is going to be beneficial. And that's very much what I'm going to be sharing with you guys in the new Cube Method book. It's more of an all-around complete life system. I think that's important. It was something that was important to me. It's something that's been important to me as I've journeyed from just a guy who was singularly focused on lifting to a guy who has created businesses, who has created a life of positivity. And I've changed. I've become a person that I'm proud to be versus a person who was always struggling for who I was, for an identity. And I'm really thankful that a lot of people have stayed active and, you know, encouraging about the Cube Method, even though I've been quiet about it. But I feel like now is the time that I am confident enough in who I am and what I'm about and what I'm doing with the Predator system to finally put it out there to the masses. So I encourage you, in the meantime, until the book is released, which is probably going to be sometime around Christmas this year or the first of 2017, to be on the lookout for some articles I'm going to be releasing. Very, very proud to finally be doing this. I'm doing it all on my own. Many people don't know or maybe not have associated that I broke away from Juggernaut, and that was nothing personal between Chad and I. It was just the difference in and vision and direction of our two businesses. And Chad's doing some awesome things with Juggernaut. I just needed to step back. I needed to really kind of go back to the basics, go back to ground level, and really start rebuilding myself as a person and rebuilding myself as a lifter and identifying what I wanted, not what others wanted from me. So this is completely on my own. I've invested almost 2.5 years into this riding, and 2.5 years into gathering as much information as I possibly could from my clients, and putting something together that I think will last a lifetime, and at least be a foundational point for people who want to pick up a worthwhile program, something that they can believe in, something that they can rely on, something that they can refer back to over and over and over again. And I think if you pick it up, it'll be a worthwhile purchase. And I'm finally proud to say that I'm ready to do this. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for believing in me, and thank you guys for believing in the Cube method. And stay tuned for those articles. They'll be coming out soon. Thank you.